Hello and welcome to Indian Standard Time. I'm Siddharth Varadarajan. Now, regular viewers of this show will have associated IST with interviews with politicians, policymakers, officials of one sort or the other. But on today's episode, we have a very special guest, Spanish writer Asha Miró, a writer who has written about her life story as a young girl adopted from India by Spanish parents. She grew up in Barcelona and when she was older, proceeded on a voyage of discovery to, in a way, unearth her roots and to understand where she came from, what circumstances led to her being given up for adoption. And her book in 2003, Daughter of the Ganges, was highly acclaimed in Spain. It's been translated into several languages, where she gives an account of her life story, as it were. She followed this up in 2004 with another book, Two Faces of the Moon. So in this episode, we will be talking to you, Asha, about your fascinating life story.
Thank you very much.
For the benefit of our viewers, let me try to set the background. Now, you were born in Maharashtra.
Yes, I was born nearly Nasik in Shahar. And when I born, my mother died, and my father thinks that he can be able to grow up to daughters, and then bring me to the sisters from Nasik, because he wants to take me an opportunity, a different life.
Right. So you were two sisters essentially.
Yes,
yeah.
we are two sisters.
But not a twin.
No,
yeah.
we are two sisters. My bigger sister, the name is Asha, and when I born, my name is Usha.
Usha.
But my father was a very interesting person, because he thinks that with his name I can go. I don't have a good life, and they changed our names, and then in this moment I begin to be Asha, Hope, Esperanza.
So your mother died when you were your birth mother died when you were at a very young age.
Yes.
And your father essentially wasn't confident about being able to bring up two children on his own. And he gave you up for adoption.
Yes.
In Bombay?
In Nasik.
In Nasik.
He take me to the sisters of Nasik.
Okay.
I begin to live with them there. And they think that I need to grow up with another child and study to the school, and then I go to Bombay, right, in the orphanage of Bombay.
Right. So how many years did you spend in the orphanage in Bombay?
I was living there since 7 years old. When I was 5 years old, I discovered that there is some parents, and I think that I want to live with a parents nearly me. I want to feel with these persons love me. And then I asked Madre Lina to bring me some parents for me. So
your first memories are as a 5-year-old?
Yes, I have all the memories of these years. I have little memories.
But these are memories of living in the orphanage in Bombay, essentially.
The book. No.
No, your memories, your first memories.
I have the first memory in the orphanage of Nasik,
yes, okay,
with the sister that care for me. And then I have memories of when I live in the orphanage. It was a very hard life there, because there are a lot of girls. You must to be grown. You must to grow there with, we don't have love. And I want to have love. And then for this, I ask that that they find me a parents.
So in which year were you adopted finally?
Finally, I was adopted in 7 years old in 1974.
1974. And you were 7 years old.
Yes, 7 years old. And then.
And your adoptive parents were Spanish, from Spain,
yes,
from Barcelona.
Spain, from Barcelona.
Okay.
Madre Lina tell me that they find my parents there, and I begin to make to prepare my travel to there, and it was very special for me, because I make all the things because I want to change to have the love of my parents.
So you have memories of the voyage getting ready for the voyage to Barcelona?
Yes.
Okay.
I take the planes alone, and for me it's a very big experience. But I think that all the people have inside the necessary. No? When you have a necessary, you can find all the things to make this reality.
Right. So you arrived then in Barcelona at the age of 7, and you meet your adoptive parents for the first time.
Yes,
or had they met you in Bombay before that?
No, I meet them in Barcelona. They never my parents never stay in India. She always lived there, and I go there. And I find my parents and my sister. I have a sister, an Indian sister there too, who was adopted before than me.
Okay, so your parents in Barcelona had adopted another young girl from.
Yes.
So how old was she?
She was very little, 5 months old, and she arrives before than me in Barcelona.
Right. So what were your first impressions of being in Barcelona, being with the family for the first time?
It was remember, in 1974, Barcelona is a city very gray. No, there are no colors. It's very cold, and I think that I think that perhaps I don't adapt it here, but with the love of my parents, I begin to learn. I begin to learn the language, to adapt it to the culture, and begin to see to be a girl like the same like the child, the children from Spain.
So at that time, the language you spoke would have been Hindi or Marathi, perhaps only.
I think I speak a little few words of Marathi. But I forget all when I arrive in Spain.
Right. So you arrive in Spain, age of 7, into the embrace of this family. You have a sister.
Yes.
And you start going to school.
Yes.
And was this the first time that you were going to a proper school? Or did the sisters in Nasik or Bombay send you to school before that?
In Bombay, I must go to the school, but I don't like a school. And then with Madre de Lina, I go to make rounds, and I go with her to visit the parents and different. I go with her. And when I arrive in Barcelona, I don't know to learn. I don't know nothing.
Right.
And I begin to go to the school the first time.
So as you grew older as a young girl. At what point did you begin to deal with the fact that you had been adopted from India? And at what point did you begin to develop this idea that you need to discover or rediscover your roots?
When I grew up, I think that begin to born a necessary to come to find my origins. How old
were you when you began to have these ideas?
I think at 12 years, I begin to need this, no? But always in my family well, when we grow up, perhaps we go all the family to India to find your identity.
Right.
But we don't find the moment. And when I was 27 years old, I come along with another people to work here and make a cooperation with an NGO. And this is the moment that for me it was a shock to come here.
So that was your first visit to India in 20 years? 20 years.
Yes.
So you come at the age of 27 for some other kind of project, but in the back of your mind is this idea that you need to find out more about the circumstances under which you were adopted?
Yes, I need to find my identity, and I think that is very important for all the people who was adopted to don't lost the origins and the identity where the place where they born.
Right, Asha, we have to take a break right now, but when we come back, we will carry on this very fascinating conversation about what Asha discovered when she arrived in India at the age of 27. Please keep watching. Welcome back to IST. My guest today is the Spanish writer Asha Miró. Asha, before we took a break, we had reached the point in your fascinating story about your arrival in India 20 years after you had left as an adopted child. And you come to India to work on some other project, but at the back of your mind is this idea that you have to rediscover who you are and what your point of origin was. So tell us, how did the story develop from there on?
When I come back the first time, I discovered that with Madrelina, tell me my story. But
so you knew the sisters, you had a place that you could go back to.
Yes, I go another time to the orphanage and meet Madre Adelina, and she tell me.
And she was alive. She remembered everything. Yes,
she remembered all. She was very older, but she remembered all the things. And she
had you written to her in between? Had you been in touch?
Yes, we in Spain. When I was in Barcelona, I read her, and we was always in communicated with her, and she tell me all the things that she know about my history, but she don't tell me the bigger thing, because perhaps she thinks it's not important for me. She don't tell me that I have a sister. And the same.
So she told you the circumstances under which your father brought you there, but she kept the news.
Not tell me.
Why? What was the reason for that?
Because I think that she thinks it's better for me, because I don't begin to think about what happened with my life. But the destiny I create, I think that I make me that I come back another time to make a film here and a documentary, and then in this way I meet my sister.
So your first book, Daughter of the Ganges, was written after your first visit.
Yes.
And is the story of your rediscovery of your Indian roots?
Yes, is the discovery. I explained there how I find my woman identity, Indian woman. I find where I see another time my country, how which are the senses of all my life. And I put in all the things I think in order, and it's a book about they make it with two diaries. My diary of this way that I come back, and the diary of my mother in Spain, waiting for me when I arrived in 1974.
Was your mother nervous? Your mother in Barcelona, was she nervous about what you would find out when you came back to Bombay for the first time?
No, she
was she worried that you would?
No, she's not worried. No, because they tell me that it's necessary. They know it that it's necessary for me that I grow up and I feel a good woman that find my origins. And because all the people was adopted, we have two origins: the place where we born and the place where we grew up.
Right.
And these is two identities that make a mix,
you a complete
and
person.
It's good for us.
Right. So you go back and you write your first book, and then you happen to come back to India to make a documentary.
Yes.
Tell us what happens next.
Then the first time when I was coming, one of the sisters of the orphanage tell me that I have a sister. They don't tell me before because they don't know how to make it. And then when we was making the documentary, we find her. We had her.
So they gave you the name of the village, the district, everything.
No, they know where she lives, where she was married, and then we find.
So they had in a way been in touch with her.
Yes.
Okay.
And we find her in one day in Kolpawadi. It's very different. The culture in India is very different to
Spain. This is a village in Nasik district?
Yes, in Nasik district.
Okay.
I find her, and it was for me a shock, because when I see her eyes, I can believe that I see her all the time. It's my parent, it's my sister. It's very important for me.
And
I love her.
Was she as shocked? She must have been as shocked as you were.
Yes.
To discover that she had, or had the sisters told her that she has a sister somewhere else?
Yes, she know it, because when my father take me to the sisters, she was 5 years old, and she knows that all the history, and she tell me that sometimes begin to find she wants to find me, but she don't know where I am.
But you had no memories. I mean, you remember coming to the orphanage.
Yes.
But you have no memories of having had a sister.
No.
Yeah.
Because I was a little baby.
Right. So what was? I mean, your first meeting with your sister and her family. What kind of a reaction was triggered both within yourself and in her and her family members?
I think that I'm a person very fortunately, because this history is very special. And I think that I have two families: the family of Barcelona and my family in India. And I grow in my heart the necessity to help them to be near this family of India, because they come in my life suddenly, but they are my family.
Right. And out of this meeting with your sister came your second book.
Yes.
The Two Faces of the Moon.
Yes.
Tell us more about what you wrote in that book.
I write, I come back another time to meet my sister. I want to stay with her alone, and I want to talk with her. I want to need that she explain me all the history.
But how did you communicate? I mean,
I have a translator.
You had a translator?
Man, yes,
okay.
Because I don't know Marathi,
right.
I don't know Hindi.
Right.
And she tell me all her the life that she have, and I think that perhaps the destiny make that I go to Barcelona, or perhaps I live like the destiny make me to Barcelona, but I must know where I live the woman in India. No, if I don't go to Barcelona, I live like a woman, Indian woman, and I have the same life of my sister.
Right. And how many years has it been since you met your sister?
15 years.
15 years.
13.
13 years. And you've been in touch. You're in touch since then. But communication must be a problem, obviously.
No, when we meet another time, no, it is not a problem, because there are the sentiments,
right.
No? The family. I think that there is something that is very special.
Was there at any point an expectation that now that you've rediscovered each other, that you should live together or be in the same place?
No, because I think that all the people have the place in the world. No? My place is in Barcelona.
Right.
I must do sensibilitate and talk about the Indian problems and the woman problems, or I need to explain all these things in Barcelona, and then there I can help the people,
right.
Not here.
Right. Exactly.
And she comes in Barcelona. My sister Asha comes in Barcelona. And she knows my family, all the places where I work. And it's very important that she was Dasha Bai of India and the Kolpewadi, and I am Dasha from Barcelona.
Two faces of the moon, as you write in your book.
Of the moon.
Now, let's broaden the discussion slightly in the time we have left to wider issues of adoption. Now, you were 7 when you were adopted.
Yes.
But not just in India, but across the world, families who adopt children prefer to adopt very young children. You think that it's important for families to be open to the idea of adopting older children?
Yes, because it's usually they wanted babies, a child, and they don't think that the girls, where they are in the orphanage, they grow there. They are 1, 2, 3 years old. They need much love, most love. They need a family, parents who care for them and love. And it's very interesting. That I think that it's necessary that the families who wanted adopted think about this. The babies are childy. They don't know all the things, but the bigger childs need love.
Right. And since you've written your 2 books, have you come across other men and women in Spain or in Europe who were adopted from India? Is there a network of such children who are trying to rediscover their roots?
In Barcelona?
No, in Spain in general.
In Spain, there is a lot of people who want to adopt in India.
Right.
Because India is a country that love, in Spain, all the people love India.
Right.
It's a very beautiful country. But they know there is a lot of difficulty to make this, to adopt it. But they wait and they make all the things right, things for to adopt a child.
Right. Now, let me ask you a little bit about the experience of growing up as a person of Indian origin in Spain. So we've looked at your history as a person adopted from India, and we discussed that part. But were there challenges that you faced as a young Indian girl in school or growing up in Barcelona? How receptive, because Spain in the early 70s was much less multicultural than it is today.
Yes.
So were there problems that you faced as a young Indian girl growing up in Barcelona? Racism, for example?
When I arrived in Barcelona in 1974, there are no people with my skin, my brown skin.
Yes.
And it was very special, exotic to be there. But I don't have problems with the other people. I don't have racism problems because the people, when you arrive in a country and you begin to learn the language, the culture, all the things, the traditions, and you begin to be the same, another child like the other one. And it's very easy for me to make this. And perhaps, yes, there is a different color of my skin, but I feel and I am a girl. Right. Like the other one.
Right. So you never experienced any problems as somebody who had a different ethnic origin?
No, I don't have never any problems.
Right.
Because one of I think that is very important, that if you go to a new country, you must adapt all this country for you. The culture, the language, all the things.
Right.
Because you begin to grow up well.
Right.
And
tell me, you said you had... Your parents had adopted another young girl from India. How has she reacted to, because she knows she's from India as well, does she have the same desire as you to, why not?
No, she tell me, Fatima don't want to come back in India because she thinks that her parents abandoned her, and she have some pain here in her hair.
Right.
And she tell perhaps in the future, but not now.
Right. So she wasn't inspired by your books to go on this journey, because obviously her circumstances and memories must be very different. We have just a couple of minutes left, and I want to broaden our discussion to look at the role of the current controversy in Europe about refugees arriving from Syria. We all saw that terrible image of that young Syrian boy lying face down on a Turkish beach. We've seen different countries in Europe having different standards. The Germans, for example, have been quite welcoming for Syrian refugees, but other countries, the UK, have not been. In your view, what role should Europe play when it comes to the accommodation of refugees from this crisis?
I think that the governments on all the world they are very slow to take decision. It's very they don't know. I think that perhaps you must reaction. We must make something very quickly, because they are only human people. They need a place for to live. They need all the primary things, no? to eat. And I think that Spain is a solidarity country, and we are all the people that we live there. We are with the hands open to take care of them, and it's our country is the country for all the people.
Right. Asha Miró, you as a young child found a home in Spain, found a family,
yes.
And you believe that Spain and Europe should be welcoming to others who come upon its shores. as refugees. Thank you very much for joining us on Indian Standard Time.
Namaskar.
Well, this wraps up our episode of IST. I hope you found this discussion as fascinating as I did. Do join us again next week, another guest, another show.